Question is from Nanny, who asks, "Love is the end of what?"
Well, that's a good question. I quite like that title because it's a sort of a bit of a double meaning, I suppose, in that, I think, love is the end could mean that love is the thing that you aim for all the time in your life, everyone does really. So, it has that sense to it, but at the same time, it's such a bittersweet thing that, as soon as you bring that kind of depth of feeling into anything, it also destroys certain things, I suppose. It's a very bittersweet song. I guess the whole, it's self-evident, and it's full of kind of emotional conflict. And I'm very proud of that one. I was thinking about it the other day. That I always feel like, because it's sort of right at the end of that album, and it's also so hard to play live. It's sort of I think we forget about that one sometimes. It's one of my favourites.
Synthman asks, "What is your favourite preamp and compressor in the studio?"
Wow.
This is why everyone else goes to make a cup of tea at this point.
That's a highly specialised question. My favourite preamp in the studio is probably no one is going to be interested in this apart from me, are they? Me and Synthman. Probably either a Neve 1073 or the API 512 or whatever they are. And compressor would be the Chandler TG1 stereo compressor, probably, which is based on the old Beatles compressor from Abbey Road.
Marvellous. Syrinx in China, who asks, "What was the first album you bought yourself, and when was the last time you digged it out for a listen?"
First album I bought was Disco by the Pet Shop Boys, which was their sort of remix album. In fact, it was the first. I don't know if there were many remix albums around at that point, but it was very cool. It had In the Night on it and Pananera and this long rambling remix of Suburbia, and it was great.
Have you listened to it recently?
I haven't listened to it for years and years, sadly. But in fact, I got it on cassette tape, so I'm not sure I've even got anything to play it on now.
Next question is from Lena8940, who's from Mexico, and she or he asks, "Will you write songs in Spanish in the future?" You've done a bit of French.
I'm not too good on Spanish. I don't. Tom speaks very good Spanish.
Is it?
Yeah, but I did translate. Well, actually, I didn't really translate it, but I did a bit of work on a song by Juanes, which I guess was originally a song in Spanish, and they wanted to do an English version of it. Anyway, so I did. They kind of sent me a rough translation, I think, and then I managed to just about make sense of it. As well, and so I did a kind of English language version of that. So that's kind of the opposite way around, which doesn't really answer the question.
Is that song seen the light of day?
I don't know if it will ever see the light of day or not. It wasn't very long ago, so it might still be.
Wow, Juanes is a sort of a big South American pop star.
Yeah. It was a great song. I think the song has been out in its original form. What was it called? Y no regresas, it's called.
Okay.
It's a great pop song.
Okay, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Keane could have something in Spanish. And,
well, yeah.
There's certainly a big appetite for it. I think
it'd be good. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like our French language Black Burning Heart was a sort of unmitigated success. It was great fun to do, but it was we put a lot of work into it, and then people sort of didn't feel that Tom had kind of sung the French words in a strong enough accent or something, or that it wasn't understandable enough, or I don't know, which I just think's a load of crap. Really.
Well, the fans liked it. I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah. This one is from Fiorella in Sao Paulo. It says that they're a great Keane fan and thinks you're a great composer and wants to know why you decided to do Mount Desolation. It seems to me that Keane is no more a priority for you.
Well, it was really just that we were on a break basically between tours. We'd kind of, towards the end of the Perfect Symmetry touring, Jesse and I were sort of talking a lot about doing this thing. It started off as a bit of a kind of joke idea, and we suddenly had all these songs that we'd written kind of on the road, and that was definitely specifically for Mount Desolation, or for this sort of unnamed country idea, and they obviously weren't right for Keane. So we just thought, well, between the Perfect Symmetry tour and the kind of Night Train stuff, we'd get in and record it very quickly, which is what we did. And that only took about less than a month, and then the touring took less than 2 months. So it was really didn't take that much out of my own sort of personal time, or my kind of writing time for Keane or whatever. And it was so it didn't really impact on Keane very much at all. But it was, for me and Jesse, it was something that we really wanted to do, and I think I really wanted to try writing in a different style, and also to get in a transit van and drive around playing tiny gigs, which is difficult to do with Keane. So it fulfilled a lot of things that made me happy.
Yeah, but it was never a question of it being an end to Keane. It was always just a little.
No, it was never. It was always just a kind of a different thing, I suppose. I don't, I never want to sort of write it off as just a bit of fun, because it was something that we cared about a lot and put a lot of work into. And I'm really proud of the songs that both of us wrote for it. But it, we were always very aware of the impact it would have on Keane and trying to minimise that. And I can remember sitting down with Jesse when we were in America on doing the Night Train tour and saying, well, we were kind of planning our touring for Mount Desolation. Suddenly it was sort of starting to look like it had gone from kind of being 6 weeks to being 4 months or something, and we just kind of said, well, let's just stop after. Let's do 3 weeks in the UK and 3 weeks in America, and then just stop and put it to bed, and sort of get back. We were both very excited about getting back to the Keane stuff, and we wanted to have a kind of clear cut-off point. So it was it was never a question of not being excited about Keane or Keane not being a priority. Keane was very much the priority all along, but I think you can have a priority and still do something that isn't your priority. There's a sentence and a half.